The Legion. The American Legion Post 59 in Grand Rapids wasn't supposed to be my dad's place. He wasn't a veteran, but that never mattered. He was Ronald Knoll, and even the men who had gone to war and seen hell gave him respect. He was a bad motherfucker, but he was also sharp, quick with his words, and people listened when he talked. That's why he could sit in the Legion whenever he wanted, and nobody dared tell him no. School was my classroom by day. The Legion was my second one at night. Old black veterans lined the bar, telling stories, laughing, arguing. They didn't just talk about war. They talked about life, movies, and everything in between. My dad could argue westerns with anybody. He had a memory like a book. And long before Google, he'd walk to the library, pull proof from a shelf, and come back with facts in hand. The first thing I ever mastered there wasn't pool. It was the miniature bowling machine in the corner. Short electronic lane, tiny balls, pins that popped back up when you rolled over them. That was my first title at the Legion, champion of that machine. But pool was where I grew up. My dad pushed me toward it when quarters on video games ran out too fast. You want your fun to last longer? Learn this game. And at the Legion, quarters lined up on the rail told the story. Winner stayed, challenger paid. If you were good enough, you played all night for free. I was just a kid, but I ran the table. Drunk men hated losing to somebody half their age, and sometimes they tried to fight me. But here's the thing, it wasn't me standing my ground. I had an army, my dad, the regulars. Everybody was watching out. If someone got out of pocket with me, they got shut down fast. And on top of that, my dad drilled me in sportsmanship. Win with grace, lose with grace, respect the game. Big Jim was part of that world. 6'9", 300 pounds, always trying to throw his weight around. My dad was 5'4", but built like iron, arms bigger than Hogan's, and he didn't play by boxing rules. One night, he beat Big Jim with a bar stool, and that was that. Still, I liked Big Jim. He'd slip me birthday money, show me tricks on the table, like how the pool lights cast little dots on the balls, and how to use those dots to line up a shot. But when the doctor said, "One more drink and you'll die," Big Jim said, "Okay," walked into the Legion, had that drink, and died. His twin sister was so devastated she passed the very next day. Charlie Wade was different, quiet, same seat, same drink, same time every day. Sometimes he'd play pool, and when he did, he was a ghost, smooth, unmissable. His son Monroe was the same, a genius with a Q. I played him all the time, trying to catch up, but those two were untouchable. And then there was Mayberry Elliott. When I was about 20, he pissed me off calling me Noel, like the Christmas song. I snapped, said I'd fuck him up. My dad stopped me. "You don't want to mess with him." Later he told me why. Elliott was an assassin for the government. One night he even asked my dad to drive him to the Sheldon complex. Keep the car running. Shots rang out inside, and Elliott came running back. The news later said 2 people had been assassinated there. That was him. That was the kind of man sitting in the same room while I shot pool. Gary and Lucille were part of it too. Gary talked slick in his suit jackets, always wrong but smooth with it. Like John Witherspoon in Friday, with that famous line, "You got to coordinate." Him and my dad argued non-stop, but underneath it was love. Lucille was beautiful, and in my young mind she was mine. Women like her made me blush without trying. My cousin Sonny played there too. He once gave me the coldest gift, a little TV, weeks before my birthday. I ruined it with a magnet, but I never forgot the gesture. He was a biker and a dope dealer, living that life until he got murdered. His funeral landed on my birthday. They buried him with a pint of Jack and a quarter of weed. Then there was Harold, sharp dresser, always in a straw hat and shades. He was a baller, a dealer, a shot of flash at the Legion. One night he invited me and my dad onto his yacht.
We partied, drank, lived large. While my dad was in the other room, Harold pulled me into my first real adult smoke session. My dad never played pool with me, except twice. And at the Legion that one time, he smoked me clean off the table. Genius, that's how he was. Brilliant at anything he touched. And the jukebox, that was its own heartbeat. Old soul, Motown, rock. Just a couple rap records. I always put on Too Short's Pimpology. 6 plays for $1, and it shook the room. Women slipped me money, asked me to play their songs. Some teased me, leaned close, made me feel like I was already grown. The Legion burned down when I was 15, rebuilt by the time I was 17. When it was closed, we ended up at other spots, So-So's, where people kept getting murdered, and 2 stands, owned by Stan himself, world's ugliest face champion, with posters on the wall to prove it. Stan had known my mom when she was a kid working as a waitress, and he'd tell me about her. But the Legion came back, and it always felt like home. Smoke in the air, pool balls cracking, my dad holding court. A whole world in one room, and I was raised in it.